Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another project for the Scrap FX design team. Again, I'm playing in the junk journal Kraft kit and working on just one single page in that journal. I'm starting off using this collage paper which was designed by Karen Yates and it's called Nebula. It's got beautiful rich colours in it. So what I'm doing is just apparently adding gel medium absolutely everywhere. It did come out rather fast. So I'm just spreading it onto that page, and the excess that I've got there, I unscrewed the lid and popped it back inside. So once that was in place, I then stuck it down and mopped up the excess and then gave it a quick dry and then trimmed off the edges. So once the edges were gone, dried it even more just to make sure that it wasn't going to tear or move, because when it's still wet it can do that, can't it? So gave it a really good dry just to make sure it was nice and ready for what we were going to do next. Then I used the number collage stencil and some white paint. I'm just adding some stenciling onto that background. So like I've said in a previous video, using a ready-made collage background is a really good way to get started on a journal page if you're not sure kind of what you want to do. It gives you a great starting point, and absolutely there's nothing to say that you can't then stencil onto those and add more interest onto the background that's already there. I love the colours in this one. They're kind of some of my favourite colours. I'm very often drawn to purples and blues. Here I'm just adding a bit of lapis into the white just to make another sort of shade of blue, just a really pale one. And then this one is going to be used through the nodules stencil. I always want to call it the noodles, I don't know why, but nodules stencil. And again I'm just adding some areas of stenciling, and I'm overlapping with the stenciling that I did the first time. You can still see bits of the background popping through. And then because there was purple in the background, I decided I would add some blackberry into that paint mix and some text. Using this Don't Waste Time stencil, I'm just adding a little bit of text stenciling onto the background too. Right, so this is the Men of Letters collage paper from Scrap FX, and I'm just cutting 3 of the men out, and then I'm going to stick them onto this piece of printer paper, and that was just to kind of make them a bit less transparent, translucent, I can't remember which is which. I didn't want them to be at all see-through. I wanted them to have like quite a definite white background to them. So I thought if I stuck them onto this paper that would work quite well, and actually it did work really well. So alternatively you could paint white gesso on the back, but sometimes these collage papers can be a little bit porous and it can come through and sometimes spoil the image. So this is another way that you can make those images a little bit more crisp and less likely to kind of become more of a background. The collage papers are great for backgrounds because when they go on, quite often they do sort of disappear a little bit, but I wanted these to be the focal point, so that was the whole reason behind sticking them onto the white printer paper. I hope I've managed to explain that properly. Right, and then I decided that I only wanted half of that man because 3 of them was taking up too much page, but I definitely wanted 3 figures there. So I'm sticking them in place using a glue stick, and he's just kind of peeping off the page, and then I'm going to overlap them. Positioning them in a little group of 3 together. And this is the Be Bold chipboard piece, and I'm just adding some magenta first on there. I thought that might be bright enough. It's such a pretty pink from Dina Wakley Media, but I decided, I think, that I ended up using my favourite permanent red violet light from Amsterdam Acrylic because it just wasn't popping enough really. This is a little bit of a richer pink than the magenta. Okay, and then I stapled that in place using the Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. And then added some splatters using the fuchsia gloss spray. And that was it, that was the page finished. So a really quick way to do a background using a collage paper. Thank you for watching, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon.